Welcome to St. Patrick's Day Today edition, March 17th, 2014. Now, along with Natalie, Cameron, Willie, a little time off. We saw Willie and Christina and the kids were at Savannah's wedding, and then they went on to spring break from there.
Oh, so, that's a good one. That's good.
We'll talk more about the wedding coming up as well, and
absolutely.
the other exciting news, too.
And I forget it's spring break. I mean, you think about it, a lot of the kids out there.
Well, it's kind of a rolling spring break because it goes all the way till Holy Week, right before
My
Easter.
kids have 2 weeks starting now, so they're
Oh, 2
going
weeks.
crazy.
When I was in school, we got 1 week. What a rip. Now you 2.
Wow, don't be hating. Wow.
Okay, I'm not hating on children who got 2 weeks. You all deserve it because you probably work much harder than I did.
A lot of these kids are here in the Northeast are missing their spring break because of all the snow days. A lot of folks.
Same in Texas. A lot of ice days and delays. So anyway, let's move on though to talk about some of the news today, which of course is this Malaysian Air Flight 370. It's been 10 days now, and over the weekend, Malaysian police searched the homes of the captain and co-pilot or co-captain, first officer on the flight. I think it's fascinating that they finally decided to take a close look at this flight simulator in the captain's home. Remember when that video first surfaced and they showed the first known photograph of the pilot or the captain, and there he is with this huge flight simulator.
That was pretty amazing.
I remember a quote from an expert who said, "Oh, he's just a guy who loves his job." Well, now that may not be the case. They're looking at some of the information from the simulator to find out if he was practicing unusual routes, so on and so forth. But
they're looking at everyone right now.
Yeah, they are.
They're combing through all 239 people on board as well to make sure there, wasn't any unusual. To make sure that they were on any terror watch list.
Right.
Or anything.
But Greg Feith says that, listen, the reality is, yes, they're searching everyone on board, but all eyes are on the pilot and the people who would have access to the cockpit there. What's also intriguing, to your point, Al, I feel terrible saying this, but it's like the movie Lost or TV show Lost or movie because you're talking about real lives and people who have disappeared, but there's no other explanation.
We're looking for explanations. And the interesting thing, though, like the pilot and co-pilot didn't request to be flying together. So it was allegedly just happenstance that they were flying together.
So you have to wonder if there's, some coercion. I mean, obviously, investigators are saying this appears to be a case. There was criminal intention here. They heard the last words on that flight, good night, and that was from the co-pilot. Well, they believe it was from the co-pilot. And this was after they lost communications or lost radar tracking of that flight.
But they also believe the flight may have still been on the ground, that it may not have actually been in the air when they good nighted the air traffic control. Bottom line is, we know less today than we did the first day of this. I flew to Africa, 20 hours one way, 20 hours back. I mean, who knew that there are spaces that you will literally vanish? You can vanish and not be found. It's crazy.
The two tracks that they're looking at, if it flew north, and then it would have flown over lots of land masses into countries, like Kazakhstan and places, and China.
Very volatile
places where, I mean, you think of an aircraft, a 777 has a wingspan 2/3 the size of a football field.
Greg Feith says if a 777 passed low, you see it.
Somebody would
have seen it. And then if it had flown south, then you've got, of course, the huge Indian Ocean. 28 million million square miles of mass that they now have to look over.
You wonder, will this going forward, assuming we find out what happens, does this change procedures going forward?
Don't you think?
The ability to not turn off transponders or certain information.
No question. I think everybody is learning from this, sadly, this tragic example, and they're going to be taking a look at all data and all operations on board a plane.
Sadly, 10 days and counting.
Yeah, hopefully we find out more.
No answers.
All right, so here's a little bit of a turn. A ritzy new boutique has now installed iPads in changing rooms for shoppers to take selfies and share with friends for a second opinion. This is Karl Lagerfeld's London store. They've put iPads into the changing room walls, lets the shopper photograph their look, add filters, post photos via Facebook, Twitter.
So when you try something on, do you ever take a picture of
with
yourself.
my private phone,
Right.
and not with their selfie phone.
Do you
On
tweet
their
it to your
network.
friends?
On their do I tweet it?
Or do you send it to
I
your
usually
friends
send
and
it to
ask
my
them?
mother, actually, because people always ask if we have stylists. I don't have a stylist. My mother is my stylist, and she yay and nays any and everything she wants to. But in the dressing room already, I am super paranoid. I told this story. I'm a TV kid. I grew up watching every TV show imaginable. Good Times had an episode where Walona worked as a security officer at a department store, and she would look at watch people while they were trying on clothing. So since the 70s, I'm convinced there's someone on the other side of that mirror already watching me.
Right. Well, there are
So, in other
cameras
words, I
in
shouldn't
those-
come into your dressing room and go, "Down on mine!"
I don't know if that's a good idea, but what? But I think that they have cameras. I believe those rooms are already monitored. Why give them more of me to show their friends at dinner
You think
parties?
that's already
Look
happening.
at Tamron Hall.
It's already happening already. I mean, people certainly are tweeting out pictures of themselves as they're trying things on already.
Yeah, but it's my
or taking
picture.
things off.
It's my picture and Edward Snowden's because the NSA has that, but I don't want.
So unlike
a
some of us,
department
where
store to have
people
it.
actually turn the cameras off for us. They go, "Oh no, no, no!"
Oh no, he didn't wear those underwear. Oh, no, I don't like it.
Good.
All right, speaking of,
We love this story.
posting pictures.
This is an incredible story. There's a Kentucky teenager, Zach Belden, and he's actually created an Instagram account for his great-grandmother who is fighting cancer. This account now, she's gained more than 80,000 followers, including Pharrell, since, her grandson started.
yes.
I just love her facial expressions and some of the video. She's got moves as well. It features, this is 8-year-old Grandma Betty. She lives in Indiana.
Love
That'd be
it.
the cutest thing I've seen.
that's spectacular.
Oh, that's
She's
adorable.
got a great
I love that.
face and clearly a grandson who's so
We
sweet,
need to
taking
visit
care of her.
Oh, Betty, we
I always
love
look
you.
for a road trip. We love you, Betty. Look at that.
All right, and the grandson there, who did a great job. All right, also, take a look at this incredible video. So, sports reporter Paul Sakala of NBC's Tucson affiliate, KVOA, filed a report from Las Vegas on Friday. Take a look how it went.
As for the game itself, as mentioned, it literally tips off in about 3 minutes, and I have to speed walk about 20 minutes to get inside of the MGM Grand to make sure I cover all the highlights and, of course, cover post-game for you tonight at 10 p.m. We at KVOA News 4 are very committed, so committed. I'm going to sign off now because I want to get there by the time everything tips off. So I'm going to hand the microphone over to my buddy Danny here, and go Wildcat.
All right, hey, Paul, get you inside. Enjoy that game. We'll see you back.
Oh!
Cut away just in
Ooh,
time, but you
okay.
kind of saw smack to the ground.
What did he fall?
He slid about halfway to the stadium.
What
Well, the
happened?
ground looks
Oh.
a little slick there.
Yeah. Oh.
Okay.
Sliding for home. He's safe.
We haven't. We're assuming he's okay.
He was fine.
We're
Wow.
assuming because we're laughing. We're
Yes,
better about
that's what we're hoping. We're
Fortunately,
hoping.
they had the
Have you
sports
ever
reporter.
fallen in front of someone or on camera?
Well, yeah, I was covering a Hurricane Wilma,
yes.
and I had a camera guy holding on to me, and I went down. And it's but the
And
good thing
really
is,
went down.
yeah, we ended up dating for about 6 months. So that
The two of you were
was pretty
definitely
nice.
hard
It
to
was very
separate.
sweet, yeah. Hey, speaking of somebody who dated for a while, Savannah
yes.
Guthrie and her boyfriend Mike Feldman dated for 5 years. He's a communications strategist. Well, over the weekend they tied the knot Saturday near her hometown of Tucson, Arizona.
Look at the sun and the
I love the
horizon.
picture.
Was
Beautiful.
spectacular. It was beautiful. It had a little bit of desert breeze during the nuptials, and then it calmed down. It was beautiful. They not only had this gorgeous sunset, but a full moon at the same time, which
So
was
pretty.
amazing.
Gorgeous location there in Tucson. But it gets better.
Yes,
but
that's
wait,
right.
There's more.
Wait, there's more. During the reception, Savannah and Mike get up. They start what we think is going to be a toast. They take a listen.
Savannah Guthrie.
That puts me in the mood to break some news.
Something about that intro that makes me feel like news is about to happen.
I feel like the least we could do is break some news. Well, we are 4 months pregnant.
Look at the room explode.
Savannah said it was like they thought they got the golden ticket.
It was amazing. Everybody's up on their feet with a standing ovation. It was really
Amazing.
just an amazing. There were about 90 folks, and what's really more amazing that not a word on social media,
Right.
Even
kept it
afterwards.
tight-lipped.
Even afterwards, it was
Yeah.
really great.
Spectacular. Her dress was stunning. She's a
Stunning.
beautiful
Beautiful
bride. Oh.
And
Yeah.
he looks so handsome as well.
Yeah, we have to throw that in for the
And
guy,
we-
but it's the dress.
Yeah,
Come
he
on.
really did. He did look spectacular.
Yeah, she
And
said she's just amazed she fit in her dress being 4 months pregnant.
She
She's like, I
looked-
got the dress months ago.
She
so
looked
looked like it fit
amazing.
her perfectly.
Absolutely.